Recently, the United Kingdom has been shaken by a series of events that challenge the core of British identity.
Violent attacks against women on trains have risen by more than 50%. British Transport Police, get this. This is one of my favourite ridiculous gaslighting phrases that is constantly rolled out when all of a sudden there are higher rates of crime or higher rates of anything that is pretty crap, basically. British Transport Police attribute it to a greater reporting of offences.
As always.
Now, do you know what is so annoying about that, right? It goes like, oh, well, you know, the statistics of the amount of people getting raped has gone up, I think, because more women report it. Well, hold on, you get the statistics from people reporting it, so that is just tautological. That is a sleight of hand, that is gaslighting. That's like saying something along the lines of, more people are saying the word boo, I think that's because more people are saying the word boo. Well, obviously. Now, the problem with this is you actually can't go back and compare that data and be like, well, you know, there were probably the same number of sexual assaults and rapes back in 2005, but people didn't report it because there's no statistics on things that weren't reported. You see what they're doing here? They lay a trap because they don't want to talk about things. And it's very clear to me as well that at the same time as saying, well, you know, it's probably because more people want to report it, that anecdotally, fewer people seem to report this stuff because they think that it's pointless and the police aren't going to do anything.
Yeah, and the actual process of reporting things is, you know, the threshold seems to be so high for anything to actually be done, for anyone to take any action. The other thing that I think is going on transport is that antisocial behaviour of all sorts is increasingly ignored by the community, as it were. And that is the thin end of the wedge. So you've got people who think it's perfectly acceptable to play really loud music or swear really loudly or litter or do any number of other low-level but really ruinous of a journey things.
The unrest on our streets and the rise of Islamic extremism have left many questioning whether we have lost the essence of what it means to be British.
And no one says anything.
Oh, then it goes up, doesn't it? So this is the seat for my bag. Can I sit down? No, you can't. My bag's here.
Yeah.
Then it goes up to, you know, people who push through ticket gates and
which
ticket
is
inspectors
never,
just stand there.
They totally do. But can you imagine if you or I, and maybe we should do this as a little experiment, we push through. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'd have the long arm of the law after us.
Guess what? You'll be pleased to know I've done that experiment.
And what happened?
Oh, I put it on Twitter. It upset the usual people, of course.
Yeah.
There were two kids. There were two. It was London Bridge Station, actually. There were two kids of expected profile who had just sort of pushed through in front of me and then through the ticket barriers. And there was a whole coterie of high-vis characters who watched this happen.
Yeah.
And I was sort of gesturing like,
Yeah.
And then I went like that. I said, "Madam, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I thought I'd push through the ticket barrier."
Yeah.
And that you can't do that, madam. And
You're
I said,
a woman after my own heart. That's exactly.
And I was like, why am I not allowed to? But they are, madam. We can't. We can't let you do that. And so I tapped in. I went in and said, "Why didn't you stop them?"
And what was the answer?
They said, "We have been told that we're not allowed to."
How does that work then?
So then I put this up on Twitter, didn't I? Because I'm Alex, and of course I did. And then I had somebody send me a message from, I don't want to say who it is in case I don't want to blow, but from an organisation very much connected to such things in a very senior position. And he explained to me that there was an active case going on about a particular woman who had been stopped by, I think it was sort of TfL staff, and then it had got a bit spicier when she started accusing them of certain things, and then the police came along, and then she started accusing the police of certain things, and so of course it then had to become an investigation into the police and how they handled it. And while that investigation was taking place, the message went down to basically say, don't stop people.
Our ability to speak freely about the state of the nation is being curtailed, leaving many feeling disenfranchised.
I mean, what? This reminds me of a story I read yesterday, actually. I mean, it's the most mad thing I've ever read. A boy on a bike with a bally and a knife, and the police want to stop and search him.
Yeah.
He's on an e-bike and he goes past, and they try and stop and search him. So they pursue him.
Yeah.
Gad, they did, because he had a bally and a knife.
By a bally, you mean a balaclava?
So they apprehend him and they take him off the bike, and he's resisting arrest. And, it gets fruity as he's resisting arrest. And the story's all about how the police are being investigated for the brutal
stopping of
arrest.
someone with a balaclava and a knife.
The mother says, "Oh, my poor boy, you know, I can't believe it. I've lost all trust in law enforcement now. I had to take him to A&E for injuries to his face."
Yeah, well,
and
maybe shouldn't be carrying a knife
I'm
then.
like, your son had a balaclava and a knife. What do you think he was planning to do with that?
I mean, the balaclava thing is a real problem, and I am sick of seeing boys in balaclavas all over city centres. It's not just in London. People, it is the middle of summer. It's hot out there. There is no legitimate reason
Also,
for you wearing a balaclava.
It's the
or
Arctic
covering
Circle. Nobody needs to have to cover their entire face anywhere in the United Kingdom.
There's only one reason to be doing that, and that is because you're trying to conceal your identity, and there's really very few reasons to do that unless you're up to something you shouldn't be.
Right.
Unless, of course, you're you or me, and you think you're about to be targeted. But some of these people think they're about to be targeted because they've done genuinely bad things. But in many cases, they are simply black market Deliveroo, Uber Eats, that type of thing workers, and they do not have the right to be working here, and they don't want people to know whether or not they have any legitimacy.
Oh,
The challenges of illegal migration and the cost of living crisis have only deepened this sense of despair. The values that once defined Britain, freedom, democracy and sovereignty, are being undermined, and many feel helpless in shaping our country's future.
muggers. I mean, when I got the attempted mugging on Oxford Street, 11:30 in the morning one day near the Samsung shop, and a guy comes and bangs me on my wrist really hard, tries to snatch my bag, tries to get my phone, realises he can't, scrambles off on a bike. And I was really shaken by this, like super shaken. And I report it to the Met Police. I got an email with a crime reference number. That was it.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, probably ain't going to get him anyway, right? He's probably got a bally on a bike. I mean, if this was, your beloved Dubai, what would happen, right? If a kid in a bally and a knife cycled down a street in Dubai.
You're not going to see that young person again.
Ever.
I don't mean to say that they are dead, but they will be in prison where they should be. And if they are not from the Emirates, then they will be deported, and quite rightly so. We should deport foreign criminals too. This isn't a novel idea, people. If you come to someone else's country and you commit a terrible crime, then you should be sent back to where you came from, because why should the British taxpayer pay to incarcerate you any more than I would expect any other country to do that?
There's old Yvette Cooper going, people have lost the faith in the police. Hold on. To me, it's a really simple equation here, right? Yeah, we have lost faith in the police because they aren't allowed to police, because the minute they try and handle anything, they're caught on someone's mobile phones and dragged over the coals. It's a really simple equation here, where people think they can brazenly walk down the street and smoke drugs, when people think they can just get on public transport carrying a knife and wearing a balaclava, when people think that they can shout intifada on the street, whatever it may be, whatever version of the sort of huge uptick in antisocial criminal behaviour we're seeing, it's because they know nothing's going to happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And the last thing we need to be doing in that circumstance is saying, well, let's investigate the police for being heavy-handed. Part of me, frankly, wouldn't mind the police being a bit more heavy-handed, because do you know what would happen if and I'm not talking
It's a deterrent.
about snatching people.
Despite these challenges, there is hope. By standing firm and asserting our right to be heard, we can reclaim the core values of our nation.
Investigating the anarchy. There have been nearly 600 arrests now.
Hello, what's your name, please?
The alleged offences include violent disorder and racially aggravated criminal damage. And it's not just those who were there physically. This armchair rioter, Jordan Parler, has become the first person jailed for social media posts.
You were encouraging others to attack a hotel which you knew was occupied by refugees and asylum seekers. The overall effect of your post was to incite violence.
Parler's initial Facebook post received 6 likes, but it was then sent to 1,500 friends. He wrote, "Every man and his dog should smash the F out of the Britannia Hotel." His mum told the court the 28-year-old was caught up and swept away by emotions circulating around the country.
The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment.
Keir Starmer said today laws governing social media will be reviewed. There's been a debate about the Online Safety Act, which gives the regulator Ofcom the power to fine social media platforms that fail to tackle disinformation. Police chiefs have raised concerns at the length of time it takes technology companies to remove problematic posts.
I do agree that we're going to have to look more broadly at social media after this disorder, but the focus at the moment has to be on dealing with the disorder and making sure that our communities are safe and secure.
Around 150 people have now been charged, including not just those who rioted, but those who took them on. In Leeds, 2 Asian men who went on an anti-racism demo and then punched far-right protesters in the city centre have been jailed. 21-year-old Samir Ali was given 20 months for a fray. 31-year-old Adnan Ghafoor 18 months for the same offence, with further time for breaching a previous suspended sentence.
You, Ghafoor, say that you were racially abused, and I accept that that might be so. There was then an outbreak of violence in a public street in the middle of Leeds, and was started by a group with which you were associated.
After the violence of the last week, 6,000 riot officers will be deployed this weekend as police remain on high alert. The government believes their constant public messages about swift and robust justice will act as a deterrent, including this Home Office video.
We must reject fear and oppression and instead channel our collective strength to restore our country's dignity and pride.
See, and indeed hear there saying absolutely enough is enough. Well, we will see how obviously events are going to unfold both in Belfast and here in England over this coming weekend. Back to you.
The path forward will be difficult, but the stakes are high to ensure that the soul of Britain remains intact for future generations. We must unite and fight for our principles.
Take a look at this. A group of car thieves in East Memphis were caught on camera aiming guns at a house while they were trying to steal a car. The key word in this case, they tried.
Yeah, trying, because that car owner tells Fox 13 those thieves failed. He had a kill switch installed on his vehicle, and they weren't able to get it started.
Fox 13's Jack Bilyeu has been looking into kill switches and exactly how they work.
So, Jack explained to us here, you're told that they can even prevent thieves who are using the most advanced technology. I mean, they come in with iPads sometimes and other USB devices, but these kill switches can keep them from stealing cars.
Yeah, Daryl and Darcy, almost 7,000 cars have been stolen so far this year. That's according to the Memphis Police Department. Now, those thieves' methods are getting more and more sophisticated, as you mentioned, using electronics to get into those cars. But the good news is that anti-theft measures are also getting more sophisticated. Now, we caught up with that car owner and the technician who installed his kill switch to find out exactly what they do, how they work, and how they can prevent you from becoming a victim.
I think I was traumatized by the event.
Justin Mills shared this surveillance footage of thieves trying to steal his car from his driveway in East Memphis back in June. 2 people are seen trying to start the car, while 2 others have guns trained on the house. But the car won't start. Eventually, they get out and push it out of the driveway.
They weren't able to get it started. They pushed it a half a mile away around a corner in the next neighborhood.
Mills says he found his car the next day with only minor damage. He credits a kill switch he had installed 2 years ago with preventing the theft.
The kill switch is the number one thing that I would put on my car. I will put them on every car after this.
We sat down with the technician who
Let us come together, voice our concerns, and reclaim the Britain we know and love. The time for action is now. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for updates. Take care and stay engaged.